I got him. I got this little guy in. Oh God, where in Nevada? I don't know. I was on a quilt bulk trip, and we were in this wonderful. Isn't he great? This restaurant, and they had these wonderful little characters, and I thought he was pretty good. So I got him, and he's kind of been on a, on some kind of like office, object, like a top of a, mailbox thing. Like I've got like a slot thing for, papers. So he's on there now. But before he was kind of like perched on the monitor precariously. So anyway, I was about to go on and I was like, come here, you're going to be on the show. So good job. Good job. Hey, hi, hello. I'm so glad to be here. I am. And what a day, How are you doing? Today was a crack up. That's what it was. I want to say hi to everybody first. I want to say hi to everybody who came on the adventure at Expo. Hey, Prairie Susie, thank you for subscribing. That's so cool. That's actually, I should have like a song that plays, when people subscribe, but that's actually the nerd song. We'll get into it. I lost a hard drive, like a full hard drive with all of the content for all of the shows up until like 2 weeks ago. So I had some sound effects on that hard drive. I had so many things. It's funny how many things. I laugh now about it. I basically, pour my troubles into him and just try to he's an inanimate object, so he can take it. Anyway, so my point is that's the sound effect for like the nerd moment. Anyway, I'll go into all of it. Sorry. It's been a hell of a day at sea. I want to thank everybody who was with me on the Expo trip today. I was so excited to go to Expo, the big art fair that's happening in Chicago right now. And it was exciting and it was so great. And we had all this gear, and like Eric went to park a car or, do stuff. And so I was on my own, to start right at 2:00, and I did. And then it was really hard. Then the tech just completely didn't work. And it was really embarrassing. And Eric was like, don't talk about it tonight. Just move on. It's really hard. He wasn't mean about that. He was just like, it's tough. It's new. Everything's new. It didn't go perfectly. Don't worry about it, And I was like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to talk about it for a long time. I'm not but I have to bring it up because, we're going to do a happy medium between Eric's stoicism and coolness and my it was crazy that didn't completely work the way I wanted it to. So thank you so much for people who tuned in. The feedback is really good. Understanding what you're seeing is really good. And we've done it before. We've done the live stream thing on location before, the Iowa Quilt Museum and QuiltCon. We walked around the show and that was cool. It's interesting. We added more stuff. We added more a camera thing and a different app and a better mic. And, and we tested it. We tested it at the zoo yesterday. And so we thought it was going to be great. By the way, just so you know, Eric thinks, he's like, there's a lot going on. There was the app to the phone to the camera, and we were on Navy Pier with a bazillion people in one spot. I don't know. But I was like, but at QuiltCon, it was fine. Anyway, so it didn't go the way I wanted. And I'll be honest with you. This is the one thing that I'll say that Eric probably doesn't want me to say. I did not see the rest of the show. I did not record other content for you guys. I was like, I'm just going to stop the stream and do some recorded content because the stream keeps dropping and the sound's really messed up. I burst into tears and I completely left the stage, I left the scene. It was just too hard. Because as I've said before, you do this stuff and you're learning in front of everybody, and everybody, is my core group, and that's fine. But I don't know, you just can't help but think maybe somebody's tuning in for the first time and they've never done Twitch and they've never tried this and they're like, okay, I'm going to give this a try. And then but I can't fake it, because it's live. But that's cool. You know what? I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and then I'll move on. I'm not giving up. No way. It's like a challenge now. All right. Anyway, so Robin, hey, I'm so glad you're here. And Myra, thanks for being there. You're still sewing? That's so great. You're doing the binding? So today has been a very productive day for you because I saw you earlier today and you're still sewing. That's amazing. I just saw on the screen, so I'm going through my chat box and catching up, but I just saw Prairie Susie say, tech is hard. It took me 40 minutes to subscribe with Amazon Prime. I actually don't subscribe to this channel through Amazon Prime. I don't know if I can, but I probably can. I should try it. Eric, make a note. I know he subscribes. Okay, Bonnie, hey Bonnie, and Teacher Stitch, it's so good to see you. This is great. Sue, Quilting Politic, M. Hicks, God bless you. I gave you a shout out last show for helping me at QuiltCon, by the way. I had a brain fart and then I thanked you. Isn't that nice? A nice connection? Okay. And Bip is here and Mother Nature, Padma. You had an early Easter egg hunt for your granddaughter as they're going to India for a month. Wow. A whole month. So it's mid-April, not quite. So they're going to go there. I mean, spring is going to be springing. I mean, what's it like in India in, the first week of April to the first week of May? I'm curious. I mean, it's going to get good here pretty soon. It was really cold today, but it's going to get good. What's it like over there? And I know it's not right now this country is very large. So in San Francisco, it's 85 degrees or something like that. Eric told me it was a really warm day, but where they're going, where your family's going, what's the weather going to be like? I'm curious. Sandy Tries and Sonia, happy Saturday. Pemberito, Fiandor, God bless you. I need I don't know what I need. I need to just keep, stay in the course, right? I need to take off my shoes. Okay. And Hootsie, I was just watching previous lives, almost through the one about Nicole Richie and G-Spin. So that was kind of crazy. That was one of those lives that kind of came up out of nowhere, just did it on the fly. And that was really fun. Same with the zoo the other day. It was fun just to kind of go live. Eric and I have been talking about it. Crosley at home, it's so good to see you. And Bonnie, thank you so much. And Bip asked me if I bought any artwork. I'm afraid I did not. I couldn't afford it, and I was crushed. I was crushed by the weight of of my life. I don't know. No, I was deep in thought. Let's put it that way. Neflinster, hey. So Sonia had a baby shower, couldn't make it this afternoon. All good. We learned a lot. We actually did. We did. I learned a lot. You gave away the baby quilt you made. They were so happy that it made you feel good. Always possible that the people will not appreciate the time and effort. Hey, one of the saddest things in the world is when somebody, doesn't love the quilt you give them. But I mean, I guess it's the risk you take, giving somebody, I don't know, the risk you take. I heard a woman say once that I was teaching a class a long time ago, on the road, and she was like, I spent, blood, sweat, and tears making a quilt for my, daughter-in-law and my son or something for their bed, and they never have it on the bed, and it hurt her a lot. But I mean, I don't know. You'd think they'd put it on the bed when she comes over. I mean, it's not fully, I don't know. Is that lying if you put the quilt on the bed for the occasion of your mother-in-law coming over? I mean, what does it cost? Nothing. And I don't know. Is that wrong? I don't think it is. I think you should just use the quilt sometimes. Mark Wesley, que pasa? Indeed. How are you doing? And okay, let's see. Robin's Nest, you're hearing music. Okay, good. So Joyce Fibers, hi. And yeah, okay, Padma, by the way, I tell you, the way to make lots of views and maybe cultivate fans is on Instagram. People put out short little videos of their dancing baby, their cute dog, or something touching that they see, and they get tens of thousands of views, sometimes millions. I know, and I think hey, Susan, and Ivy Gadivy, oh my God, it's so good to see you, NDH. And my great cats. Hey, Karen and Nunmaker, hello. Oh man, it's so good to see everybody. The Instagram thing and the social media thing, I made a choice. I made a decision after Eric and I were walking. Hey, Ann Hamill. Thanks. Thank you, Penny. Thanks, Penny. Oh, I'm wearing the earrings still that I wore. But as we were walking out of the expo, I was like, you know what? I got a budget. I'm gonna hire somebody to help me. I can't do social media. I'm really bad at it. I just don't. I'm just not good at it. I don't know. I need help with that, and I need somebody to help out, with some like very specific Twitch things. And so I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out because I can't. Yeah. I want to learn some stuff, and I think someone can really help me out learning other stuff. Patton Oswalt was amazing last night. If you're new here, we kind of chat, kind of hang out, settle in, helps me kind of get into the groove. It's Quilt Nerd. We have I have amazing content for you tonight. I hope, wonderful things to look at. Some coincidences too, as usual. We have some strange things that happen on this show, things that connect in weird ways, weird and wonderful ways that kind of like, well, you'll see, if you watch for a little while, you'll see that we have things that connect across time and space in this show. It just happens, and it's really neat. It's kind of one of the reasons I like doing the show, because it always happens that something sort of novel happens with content or with people, and I always want to see what it is. Oh, hey, Pam Burrito, thanks. Cheer indeed. Thank you. Yeah, and what we got to see, Myra, exactly. Poop happens, right? And what people got to see really, really was fun. It really was very cool. Thanks, Sandy. That's awesome. The archway, My Great Cats, wasn't that awesome? Yeah, tech is hard. Oh, man. Okay. So, Karen, we wanted to hear your thoughts on the Naked Crochet Man. That was interesting. I think when I saw it just briefly, I was thinking maybe it was a trans person, because it seemed to have, it was a representation of a non-binary person. That was my first impression. But really, my first impression was I turned the camera on it and I was like, okay, nudity, sort of. Is this a problem? Because you know what? You know what else? God, thanks, Mark. Hey, Chan Makes Stuff. Hi. Oh, this is great. It's so good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. El Riggs, Jill. And I think that you should know that Twitch is much stricter about content than YouTube. Twitch will yank your channel. I think they call it yeeting. Twitch will yeet your channel for things much more quickly, I understand, than YouTube. Their terms of service are way stricter, which I love. I think that's great. So I was like, okay, that's an artistic genital area. Sure, it's fine. So it's okay, thank you, Sonia. It's loving to put the quilt on the bed when the maker visits. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to, I'm still, I'm back and I'm not caught up yet, but I'm gonna get there. And I'm gonna do 2 announcements real quick, and then we'll look at the quilt behind me. The quilt behind me changes every show. It's a great way to start, and sometimes it's traditional, and sometimes it's modern, and sometimes and I love the quilt tonight. And so there's 2 announcements. One is that Quilt Nerd, let me show you, actually. Let me get small. I gotta get small. Help, I'm small. I'm going to get small, and I'm going to show you. Oh, and I figured something else out. It's so great. Like, why didn't I do this before? If I want to show you something on a browser, why don't I have Safari pulled up in the thing with the thing? Anyway, but when I was using Chrome, it would like change the screen or something. I don't know. It's not a problem now. So I'm doing a giveaway. When we hit 200 subs for this channel, I'm going to give away this quilt. And if you want to see the quilt that I'm going to give away, there's a link that will take you right there. And it's quiltnerd.link/Nepal quilt giveaway. quiltnerd.link/Nepal quilt giveaway. Quiltnerd.link is it's just a way for me to shorten really long URLs. And so, quiltnerd.link/Nepal quilt giveaway. And when we get to 200 subs, I'm going to draw from the subscriber list. And this is really wonderful. It's made by an organization, Quilts for Kids Nepal. And I love it too, Cork Quilts, isn't it? It's so foofy. It's so gushy. This is a child's quilt or a youth quilt made in Nepal. via this organization, Quilts for Kids Nepal. That's a pretty good picture. It's a pretty good one. And it's a good cause. I mean, that's kind of a cliche thing to say, but it really is. It really is. It's not an NGO. It's a, small, sort of independent organization that is helping kids go to school by employing the women in this particular village, in this area, I should say, to make quilts and sell them on the internet. And so if you Google Quilts for Kids Nepal, you will learn more about the organization and see the amazing quilts that they have for sale. So I bought one a while ago, and I was like, you know what? I want to give back to my audience, my subscribers, who I value very much. And so, so once we get to 200, we're going to do that. So if you subscribe through Amazon Prime, which is free, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can subscribe for free to one Twitch channel every month. If you do that, it's amazing. You have to re-up every month. It's not just like one and done. So maybe if you haven't checked that recently, you should check it. Make sure you're still active. You don't have to watch ads. You go into the drawing thing and you can get onto the Discord, which is really nice, and we can communicate there and share pictures and stuff, because the chat is great while the show's going on, but sometimes we have stuff to say, and we have things to share. And so the Disco, as we call it, is the place where we do that. So you can do that too. So you should subscribe to the show. It's very encouraging to me. And it's just, it's fun. It's fun to be a subscriber to a thing you like, right? You're part of the thing. You're part of the whole. You're part of the whole. So, okay, so there's that. And then I think the only other announcement, I don't think there is another announcement. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I have anything right now. Okay, so here's my question. No, I think I answered the question, in fact. Oh, you know what, Padma? I missed your answer about what's going on over there, where your grandkids are going. But I can catch up. I better not get distracted just yet. But there's much time that we can spend together and talk about things. Okay, so thank you to my mods, by the way, and everybody who is subscribing and the followers. If you follow, you get a notification when I go live. So you should definitely follow if you don't. So, okay, so I have a wonderful bunch of books about quilts, and I have to order another library cart because my library cart that I got for this office is very full. It's overflowing. So I'm going to get another one. And as I put the books on the cart, I get to look through them and flip through them. And it's really, hey, Kelly, hi. Yeah, isn't this a good one? Grover, isn't this good? So as I put these books, they were in the storage, the dusty storage locker. Hey, Carmen Apple, thanks for following. 1977 was the last issue of Quilter's newsletter we looked at here on this show. Yeah, interesting. So anyway, they were in this dusty little storage locker down in our basement, or the books that I had were here in Chicago on, stacked up against the wall, seriously. And we were in London, and so I didn't have my books. So now we're home, and we got an office. So I'm streaming to you from an office in Chicago, not downtown, but pretty close. No one's here. It's kind of murdery. It's fine. Soon the lights will go off because there's no motion being detected out in it's a co-working space. And so there's no one in the hallway or the common area. So soon the lights will go out and I'll be frightened, but it won't faze me. You won't even know because I'm just that professional. But now I have all my books like in the office or close to. I've got a lot of them and a lot more to bring over, actually, a big couple suitcases full, actually. So I'm going through things, and I get to look at all these wonderful books that I have, and I get to look at, the people who, I get to look at the quilts and get to read some of the text. I mean, I start looking at the pictures, and then I've got a stack of books that I want to look at more closely and read fully, and that stack is becoming a problem because it's very big. And so now it's not really a stack of like priority books, it's a stack of books, and it's not helpful. So I have to like winnow them down to, maybe like 2 at a time. But this is one it keeps sort of coming back. It's called Southern Quilts, A New View. It's by Bets Ramsey and Gail Andrews Trechsel. If you want to buy this book, you should. It's out of print. It was published in... The quilt behind me is in this book. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's why I'm talking about this particular one. It was published in 1991. Bets Ramsey is a legend. We will one day talk about Bets Ramsey at length. If you'd like to, hey, so on Positive Threads, subscribed with Prime. You've subscribed for 3 months. I appreciate you. I like that. I mean, if we get a flood of subscribers, I probably can't like play it over and over, but it's a nice touch. So if you want to purchase this book, I suggest you do it, and because it's really, really good. We shall see. And this is a link for you to do that. It is live. quiltnerd.link/new view. It's an affiliate link. It takes you to Abe Books, and yeah, I mean, it's like $5 or something, and part of the proceeds go to this show. To help pay for an assistant. It's true. So the color is beautiful. The paper is amazing. And this quilt is featured. And let me just tell you what this book says. I won't read the whole jacket cover because it's a bit long, but I will tell you, it's by Bets Ramsey and Gail Andrews Trechsel. And this is what it says. When curators Bets Ramsey and Gail Trechsel invited 28 Southern artists to participate in an exhibition of studio quilts, they were looking for works inspired by traditional bed quilts, but interpreted by the artist's own experiences and vision. The curators stipulated only that the pieces were to be layered and fastened together in some way. There were no restrictions on materials. So one of the things, it was, this is what wasn't a challenge exactly, an invitational. Such latitude-inspired largesse. I mean, so Bets Ramsey she's a legend because she's done so much for the quilt world, and she's so delightful. She lives in Knoxville. Quilt Folk did a story on Bets Ramsey in our 4th issue, Tennessee. It's the first issue I worked on, actually. Bets is she's one of those people that, like, I don't know, she makes the world a better place. She has done so much research, written many books. She and Mary Kay Waldvogel have worked together many times because they both are Tennessee women. And Bets is like this like hybrid scholar / I was going to say like chick you want to hang out with. Well, you want to hang out with scholars too. I just mean like she's sort of easygoing, but she's so smart and she's done so much, and she's in her 90s now and just amazing. We went out to get barbecue with her and she was like, I'll take the ribs. She's just really, really cool. So this book is published in 1991, so that's 30 years ago. And the quilt here, and we'll look at more of the quilts from this book at some point, but this quilt in particular, was made by, hang on, I'm going to scoot this over. I think I figured out something else, you guys, so we can see more of every quilt we look at. Rhonda! Hey, Rhonda. It's so good. It's so good that you're here. I love it. This is called Sister Ship. Yeah, I think I figured out how to like place the screen so we can kind of see more of the quilt without the chat getting in the way. We'll see. We're going to try. Look at the piecing in this quilt. It's called Sister Ship. And that's 2 words, Sister Ship. Sister Ship. It's by Stephanie Santmeyers. And that's Santmyers. Santmeyers. Yes, my great cats. Would a mod please whisper or DM my great cats a link to the Discord? That would be really great, and let me know if there's any trouble, and I will put it in my notes to get you that. Okay, it's very important because you're a subscriber and you should have access to the Discord. That's one of the perks. So Stephanie Santmeyers made this in 1990. And here's something that might subscribe you. Here's something that might surprise you looking at this. And I'll back up from it a little bit. And then we're just going to go in. I've got some to read to you about the maker while we examine it. But I mean, we're going to look closely at this quilt because I want to. I want to sort of analyze, just enjoy all the piecing that she's done here. But this might surprise you. It's 57 by 60. I don't know about you, but it seems bigger than that to me. Just when I look at it, because maybe it's so intricate, because maybe I don't know. I don't know. It looks like it would be a larger piece. That maybe it would be easier to make if it was a little bit larger. But she was working, I don't know, smaller than I anticipated. So it's cotton, poly cotton, ribbon, machine piecing, hand applique, and hand quilting. Oh wow. Okay, so hang on. Cotton, poly cotton, and ribbon, machine piecing, hand applique, and hand quilting. So it's hand quilted. The circle looks like a petri dish. 1000%. Bingo card. Okay, so here's a little bit about Stephanie Santmeyers, and this is from this book. I mean, look at this. It's just, this book is like, look at the gloss. The gloss on the pages. Beautiful. Hey, Rhonda. Did I say hi to you just now? Maybe. It's been a long day. So let me read to you about Stephanie. Hang on. It's right here. Would you look at those tabs? Oh, no, you can't see that one. That one's not going to work. The green screen's so weird. Okay, hang on. Where's my tab? Okay, Stephanie Santmeyers. Stephanie Santmeyers puts her great technical skill to work, exploring illusion and spatial relationships. Sister Ship is one of a series of space quilts. Space quilts? Oh boy, that's exciting. I mean, I just don't know what to say. When someone like that follows me, it's like, I'm blushing. Thanks for following me. That's awesome. So, okay. So Stephanie Santmeyers puts space quilts. This is one of a series of space quilts that grew out of her interest in science fiction and space exploration. Is my husband looking? Is he watching? Are you hearing this? Our sense of depth and dimensionality are put to work in ascertaining the relationships of various forms and shapes in the quilt. Wow. Space quilts. In the center of the quilt is a large egg-like shape, which is cut from a fabric with an organic feeling. Petri dish. It contrasts with the more rigid, high-tech quality imparted by the solids and stripes. Santmeyers sketches her ideas first in graphite and black ink. Then she masterfully translates these black and white shadows and illusions into fabric, creating various visual depths. Hey, honey. I hear you. I see you. Did you hear that? Space quilts? I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely like if you had like a multiple choice, question, it's like, how would you best categorize this quilt? Floral quilt, political quilt, space quilt. Yeah, clearly a space quilt. So let's go in here a little bit closer. Thank you, Eric, by the way, for all your help today. You were very, very helpful. I love you very much. Okay, so look at this. So check out this piece here, this green. That is a striped fabric, you guys. Like, that's one piece of fabric, don't you think? I mean, that's not like, 2001 Space Odyssey, 1000%. Thanks, Tani. Yes. Sonia, I just saw your note. It reminds you of Metropolis, that movie. Metropolis. Yes. I agree. So that green is a very cool fabric that's been printed. I mean, it's not pieced. But then I think these two blues, I think that is pieced. And that's crazy. It's crazy. To space and beyond. Padma, totally. We have looked at quilts in space. Quilts in space. Oh, wow. So Rhonda Kernoodle says, it reminds me of Irene Roderick's Voltron quilts. That sounds amazing. Voltron. I just remembered this hip hop song that references Voltron. I don't know that I know Voltron except from a reference in a song that I like. But that's interesting. So I have to write that down. Irene, what did you say? Where is it? Yeah, okay. Irene Roderick. Voltron. Cool. Voltron quilts. Love it. And then you've got this. This is really... So let's zoom in on this part, this half square triangle, only it's, it's a rectangle. It's not quite square. L-Rigs, it totally looks 80s. Yes, it does. It's got that. Yeah, I mean, why does it look 80s? What is that? I mean, what is that 80s look? I mean, it's somewhat, the colors, that dusty rose. I mean, you just can't get away from that dusty rose in the 1980s, I don't think. And that hunter green comes up a lot. But it is that like graphic, like Memphis design kind of deal. The 80s is the shade of blue, Padma, 1000%. And all right. And also, yeah, what else is 80s? The 3D, Kelly, exactly. A nun maker, it does look kind of like a mall carpet design. It does. Oh my God. You're right. It does. It looks a little bit like, oh my God, it really does. But I know what you mean. We all love this quilt. We're all freaking out. It's amazing. Stephanie, you're a genius. But you're right. Like if you're on the third floor, oh God. If you're on the third floor of a mall and you look down at the court of the, the beautiful, gorgeous, carpet or inlaid tile, there is, it's of a time, but it's so great. I don't know. Listen, you know what? You watch out. This is how live is scary. Because you're like loving something and then you say that it looks like a mall and then everybody can't, I don't know. God, everything's just crazy. It's like the coolest quilt ever. It's the intro quilt on Quilt Nerd. There's no higher praise. Anyway, so this is really cool. I think this over here, yeah, that's pieced for sure. That's like a strip set basically over here. And then, another strip set up here. Anyway, I just think it's really fantastic. And look at this narrow strip here. A Vegas hotel carpet. Okay, look, if we all go down with the spaceship, we all go down with the spaceship. Stranger Things. I know. Transformers. Exactly. Court Quilt says, change up the colors and wow, it would look like a 2023 QuiltCon future winner. Totally. And everything that is, hang on, I gotta try to zoom out here again. Whoa. Everything that is old or, older, is new again. So, yeah. So who knows? So we'll look at it one more time. But this is the cover of the book, just so you can see it in a clear way. And here's the thing. So before we get to... So I want to tell you, the next thing that I'm going to show you, there's like the meat of the show, okay? This is the prelude. This is the appetizer. This is the poo-poos. My stepdad, Mark, who I adore, he says, who wants poo-poos before dinner? Because that's Hawaiian, right? It's a Hawaiian term. His daughter lives in Hawaii. His granddaughter was born in Hawaii. And I believe it's a Hawaiian term for like appetizers, and he's like, we'll have some light poo-poos or some heavy poo-poos. And he just thinks it's hilarious. Anyway, so we're in the appetizer stage. And then the meat of the show is really interesting. And I've been wanting to share this for a while. But before that, I'm going to show you a trailer for an independent movie that came out of New Zealand. It is called Helmut Makes a Quilt, and it is not a horror movie per se, but it is not a feel-good light romp. So I'm going to show you that. So hang on, because I'm going to do a couple more things about this book briefly. Hey, so someone is here from the office next door, which just terrified me, and he is here with a woman. Okay, that'll be fun. So this is the book, and oh my God, right over there. I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't have to do anything, but it's just really weird. What if they came here to like Snog. Can you hear him? What a crack up. This is like the most crack up day. Hey, Sibby Mac. You've come in a very interesting time. I'm just going to catch up on the chat. Well, whatever they were going to do, they have to change their plans because I'm here. Kelly Nara says, oh, funny, Myra Cohn, I volunteer with Miss America. You do? I have so many questions. I love that. I really love that. I'm not kidding. I think that's fascinating. I volunteer with Miss America, and my teen, Marcel, is an actress that has been in Stranger Things. Really? So on Positive Threads, hi. Oh, you see an eye in the book cover? Hang on now. Hang on. I was in a restaurant and one of the dishes was flaming poo-poo. Hey, Quilty Mouse. Hi. So, you know what, Padma? I know who's coming and going because it's all glass. Because it's a co-working space, so everything's glass. I think they think it encourages cross-pollination. Play music louder. Listen, Joyous Vipers, I hope I'm cracking you up. Do I have glass walls? Mother Nature, you said, do you have glass walls? I literally thought you were saying, do you have glass of wine? And I do over there. I maybe later, okay? Maybe later. M. Hicks, just be cool. If they did, their plans are changed now. Exactly. It'll be fine. Are they doing the hot dog dance? Chill, Alex. Unacceptable. Okay. Hang quilts over those glass walls. That is a fine idea. It might be like against like the rules. I don't know. You know what? There are no rules. And the gals who work here are like super sweet. And they're like, they seem, I bet I could like scare them into letting me do it anyway. So, okay. So look, so we talk about the creepy, awesome stuff that happens in this show. And this, by the way, the reason I wanted to copy the title page is because this book belonged to a woman named Eleanor Malone. And I mentioned to you before that some of my books that I have, my quilt books, came from the AQSG auction. The American Quilt Study Group does seminar every year, and then and there's this auction to raise money, and a woman named Eleanor Malone, I believe, had passed away, and the books that she had in her library were available at the AQSG seminar auction. And so my mom called me and she said, Mary, it's a lot of books, it's a lot of good ones. Do you want me to bid on it for you, you know? And I was like, I love you. Yeah, that would be amazing. So she did. And I mean, maybe, I don't know that it was like a crazy amount. I mean, maybe some people were like, I'm not shipping all those books back home. I'm not sure, but I am deeply indebted to her for that. It's amazing that I have this library, you know? So this says to Eleanor, you know, a lot of the books are inscribed with Eleanor. It's so cool. And a lot of the books too have Eleanor Malone's like nameplate, like the Ex Libris thing in the book. So I think that's really neat. So I scanned that in. Yeah, Conjuring S.J. Pepper. Say her name 3 times. I think that actually might work. Okay, so remember, so there's 2 things here, and then we'll go to the horror movie preview. The last time we were together in this space, we talked about Charles Counts. Do you remember these quilts that I showed you? Charles Counts was making pottery and quilts sometimes at Rising Fawn like collective. And we talked about him and this quilt too. Well, what do you suppose I found when I was looking through this book? I found this. Untitled Quilt. Charles Counts departs from tradition by using designs based on organic shapes from nature. Quilted by the Rising Fawn Quilters. 1974. I mean, I have a lot of books, you know? I have a lot of books. So it's just, I mean, I didn't plan that, you know? And I've never seen a Charles Counts quilt outside of a big folder that I have with, my big folder of fascination. That's where I put a whole lot of different stuff that I like to look at and I want to look at later. And I pull this book out because I'm looking for an intro quilt. And here's Charles Counts in a very, very groovy 70s spot. I know, Padma, it doesn't look huge. Ew, Myra, I can't watch these horror movies. I can't do it. Eric has seen every horror movie, or he's working his way through them. This is an interesting piece. I don't know about that. But the quilt is Charles Counts, and I just thought that was really cool. I just thought it was really, really cool that that Charles would come up again so quickly. So I wanted to show you. Yeah, and the quilt looks really big. Yeah, does it say? No, it doesn't say how big it is, but I'll bet you know what I bet? I bet that's one of his pieces of pottery. Don't you bet? Don't you just bet? I know, I love it too. I love it too. The universe, amazing things happen. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I used to be, all atheist and stuff, and I was like, and I am. I mean, I can be pretty nihilistic, which actually is not so good. But talking to Eric, he looks at physics, and we talk about time and space and consciousness and stuff. We don't know anything. We don't know what energy is. We still don't. Eric, I don't want to, I know you're doing things and you have me on and all that, but I mean, what's the definition of energy again? It's like the potential for a force to do useful work or something. I mean, we just don't know. We don't know anything about energy and gravity and physics. We're just really not. We just really don't know what's going on. We think we do, and we say we know a little bit, but we don't know very much. So to say there's like no, to say everything is chaos and nothing makes sense, and there's no reason why Charles Counts would be back in this show 2 nights in a row or 2 shows in a row. It's kind of like, well, what do you know? We might as well say there's kind of some freaky stuff that happens in this show and that it feels good. That's all I'm saying. It feels good. I don't know what it means. It probably doesn't mean a lot, but I like how it feels. You know what I'm saying? So here's one other thing about this book. Ooh, yeah, Jill Alex, tell Eric to watch What the Bleep Do We Know? Really cool documentary. I don't know if we watched it together, but we've both seen it, like, independently. I remember. I think I saw it in the theater a long, long time ago. Okay, so this is the other thing, the other quilt in here, in this book that I wanted to show you, because I was surprised to see it. It's by Susan Harlan. And if you've been watching for a while, and hopefully... hopefully hopefully you remember this other quilt that I'm going to show you next, but I don't know. It's, you may remember it, you may not, and that's okay. But you might. And it was called it's the Cat Quilt. I'm not sure if that's the title for it. I loved it, and it was an intro quilt months ago. It was back in London that we looked at this one, and it was by Susan Harlan, and I couldn't find anything else about her. It was in the Georgia Encyclopedia of Art, or the Georgia State Collection of Art, I believe, but they didn't have much information about her, and when I Googled her, I found some paintings that she had done. Some of you might know, or you might remember this one. It's quite unusual. It's this satin, stuff, and the cats are so cute, and I don't know, I really liked it, and so I wanted to put it on the show, and I did, but I couldn't find much about Susan Harlan. Well, then I opened this book, and here is this other quilt by Susan Harlan, and it's called Look at These Now, number 2. You remember, see, M. Hicks, you remember. Yeah, Robin Ness, you remember. And hey, Mary Kate's here. I'm so glad, Mary Kate. There are more things in heaven and earth, Mary Fons. I know. You know what? I think, yes, because I met Eric Milland. I mean, because I met him, and it was such a strange thing that we met each other, and he's the love of my life. I met him in a bar, and we got married 4 months later. I love him more every day. I'm getting off topic. But Susan Harlan made this quilt in 1990. It's chintz and other printed fabrics, machine quilting onto polyurethane foam. The bird quilt, Mark says, reminds me of Hitchcock's Birds episode. Talk about horror movies. That movie freaked me out. Oh my god, migrate cats. Bird guts from the Cats Gone Crazy. We don't need SJ tonight. You're all ornery in the best way. Eric, have you seen The Haunting, 1963? It scared the heck out of Padma. Oh, Kelly, gotta step away for a bit. Kids, don't get into too much trouble. Too late. It's too late. But if you can come back, we'd love to have you back. And if not, I hope you have a great night. It's great to see you. Anyway, so birds and cats. But I really liked this, and it was another quilt by Susan Harlan. So I'm gonna have to make a Susan Harlan folder. Psycho and The Exorcist. No, I have been scarred by horror movies. Okay, and we're talking about them, so let's talk about them. So this, it's terrifying, right? A scary form, a scary, like, boring looking form. This is what I found. This is how I found this movie. I was in archive.org. I was looking at weird stuff, I don't even know. It was the rabbit hole. And I found this document, and it was, title of publication, Helmut Makes a Quilt. And the medium was DVD. I was like, what? Is this like a how-to? Like what's going on here? Let me scoot this over a little bit. And then I saw the New Zealand Film Festival Trust. I was like, what is this? Is this a movie? And indeed, it's a movie, and it's called Helmut Makes a Quilt. And we are going to look, unrestricted, suitable for mature audiences of 16 years of age and over. So, but then, content that may disturb. So I just didn't know what I was getting into. And so I had to Google around. In 2013. I don't even know what this, document is. It's some kind of form. Okay, hang on. Some kind of form. Wait a minute. I want to do just a single page. Hang on. Single page. Okay. This is the poster. Or this is the cover of the media kit. Yeah, it's the poster. It's a short film. I'm just going to let that sink in. I know Susan Carmichael. Now listen, I got to tell you. I watched the trailer, which we're going to watch. I've got it queued up. And I really don't like scary movies. And I really didn't know what to expect. And it's not like ghosts or like demons or whatever. Like, I cannot take that stuff. But he's in prison. There's a guy in prison. That's all I'll tell you, is that he's in prison. And there's some, it is sort of disturbing, the little bit of the trailer that I saw. So if you're very sensitive, such as myself, I don't know, just be aware. Be aware that you might be like, I don't want to watch this. That's the moment when the lights go out, of course, in the office building that I'm in. Susan Carmichael, I like films. My sister, Rebecca, this is the media kit. My sister, Rebecca, is the film programmer at the Gene Siskel Film Center. And that is like a very big deal. Look at this. Look. Oh, see, that's the quilter. Hang on now. Hang on. Did you see those hexies? Look at those hexies down at the bottom. Look at that. Helmut Makes a Quilt is a black comedy about two odd pen pals who fall in love so gradually and so deeply that they don't notice when madness starts to creep in. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? We are going to do it. We're going to do it. Quilty Mouse, I'm with you. Okay, here we go. We're doing this. You ready? We're going to watch this. Wait a minute. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. I'm going back to the press kit. Just a second. Just a second. Don't read ahead. Let's go to, hang on. Okay, I'm going to go to the movie poster here. So we're going to watch Helmut Makes a Quilt. Yeah, I know what's going on. I've got Vimeo. Hang on. Vimeo. Yep, here we go. Boom. You ready? Ready for this? Full screen. It's 1 minute and 38 seconds. Okay. Okay. I'm probably going to eat some crisps.
this letter and for the very kind gift of the handmade oven mitt.
It's funny, right? It's
In
cute.
answer to your questions, I have a job in laundry. My favorite day is Tuesday. I have tried sewing, but I have not tried quilting. I accidentally once killed a person.
Thanks, J. Wars Croc.
I don't have family.
Look, wait, look. Are you seeing this? They're not kidding. They know what they're talking about. Look, that is her stash. That is her fabric stash. This is her sewing studio. It's real. You know, it's not like they're like, you know, Helmut makes a quilt and actually it's some Afghan, you know, crocheted, you know, knitted kind of thing. I mean, that woman is a quilter. I don't know. Padma, I don't think she knows he's in prison either. I think that's the thing. 5Z, if you're listening, I mean, I think the movie is maybe like 16 minutes or something. I didn't know that, but when I was looking for the preview, the trailer earlier, I think I saw that. I mean, I just want to watch it with you guys. Interesting. But sometimes these short films are not so easy to access. Okay, let's get back to the trailer.
It has been nice to talk to you in this letter. Kind regards, Harlan.
Ooh.
I'm sorry I have taken so long to write. I think a mind can only wander so far before the body yanks it back in.
Oh, God. Ah. Ah. See what I'm saying? You know? Oh God. Oh no. Ugh. Oh my God. Ah. Okay. Oh, I know. Oh God. Yeah, body horror. I told you. I was like, ugh. And I didn't watch it to the end. I probably should do that. If I'm showing you all films next time, I'll watch everything to the end so I can really... Rhonda Noodle Crunch. Ugh. What in the hell are you making us watch, Fons? Listen, that is probably... Maybe we shouldn't watch the whole film. I don't know. If I can get it and enough people want to see it, we'll watch it. And if you don't want to watch it, that's okay. Body horror, see, that's what Eric has taught me. I'm going to go back and look at her sewing studio. We're just going to keep that still. Okay, here we go. Eric has told me, there's there's all these different genres of horror movies, and that makes sense. It's not so strange. But he really knows the subgenres. There's body horror, and there's home invasion, and there's all these different kinds of scary movies. And, this is obviously, we just saw some body horror. Bonnie, it is safe to come out. We are not going to watch anymore. It's off camera. The other Mary Kate. I mean, I'm sure everyone in this chat has sliced a finger at one point or another, but by accident. This is a very good point. I have to give you credit for that, because you're right. We've all probably done really scary things to our hands because we make quilts. But isn't that interesting? So I think, Padma, you were right. I think the conceit here is that they're pen pals, but she doesn't know he's in prison. But I'm curious about the movie. So anyway, it's Helmut Makes a Quilt, and it's from New Zealand, and it does look sort of funny. I mean, he was like, "Thank you for the oven mitt," So, yeah, a short film. That's it. Maybe what? Let's just do one. Yeah, 16 minutes. Look at this. Oh, and look. When pen pals Marion and Helmut, decide they can't be apart a moment longer, they use their passion for quilting to break him out of prison. I think that's pretty awesome. I think we need to watch it. I'll let you know. I'll let you know ahead of time if that's what's going to, if that's what the show's going to be. Like, I'll be like, Tuesday night, we're going to watch Helmut Makes a Quilt. So join us, a half an hour later if you're not into it. Watching Severance now on Apple TV. Paper cutter scene. Too much for one day. Paper cutter? I don't know what that is. Severance? I think about severing a finger. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So here, yeah, she does know Quirt Quilts. That she had to have her address to send him a mitt. So she does know he's in prison. 1,000%. Yes, he totally does. Should have used a rotary cutter. You know what, Grover? I don't know if you were with us when we came up with we began the conversation about a horror movie called The Quilt Maker. The opportunity for horror using quilts and quilt making as a theme is endless. Rotary cutters, sewing machines, needles, thread. We just talked tonight. It's funny. We just talked tonight about not putting the quilts that, if you give someone a quilt and they don't use it, they don't put it on the bed. Well, maybe the motivation of the scary, scary quilt maker is that she made a quilt for somebody, or he, maybe, I don't know. Probably should be a female. I don't know. Who knows? No one's written the script yet. It could go anywhere. But like maybe, a quilt was made for a loved one. The loved one, snubbed their nose at it. This dumb quilt. Threw it in the garbage, made a jacket out of it. And then, the quilt maker dies and comes back to life and murders them. All of them. Bad, like hardcore, Could be really scary. It actually could be really scary. It wasn't just a movie. That's right, Jill. We devised an entire movie collection. It's true. We had Quiltmaker 1, Quiltmaker 2. I remember all of this. Kenny, Mark, Beasley Richard. I think Chris Mess was in there. We were. I think we were up to like Quiltmaker 7. It was very fun. Actually, I remember that the chat was like going crazy during that discussion. So there was interest, is what I'm saying. There was interest. And yes, so we'll see. Niflinster, my cousin made a quilt for her sister, and at her next visit, the dog was sleeping on it. That's the motivation for a horror movie. It's that resentment, I think that's probably a name of a horror movie, The Resentment. Okay. It would be great. It would be great. Honey, what madness am I talking about? Eric, you don't know about the quilt maker? Didn't I tell you about it? I know. Pardon me. I know that I did. The quilt maker. My brother-in-law is a filmmaker, and if I wrote the script, Eric, he'd read it and he'd look at it. He might not make it. He might not make that film, but it is actually pretty scary. And if you want to get quilts into, popular culture, make a really good horror movie. That would do it. But do we want that? Do we want that attention? I don't know. Okay. So let's talk about this. So this is another one. Sometimes I get content for you all from the web. I mean, sometimes all of the show is like, oh, I found this person online, or here's this art project that's going on, or here's this quilt show, that was at the Brooklyn Museum, and I've got these pictures for you from that exhibit or whatnot. But now that I have these books, it's so fun to share books with you. This one is this is kind of a deep cut, Speaking of, cutting people and quilting. So this one is really interesting. And when I searched for it, and I do have an affiliate link for you, and you might want this one. And it's one of those out of print books that's so out of print and so, old that it's like $2, on Abe Books. But if you want to purchase one of these, and when you see some of the quilts in here, I don't know, Quilt Nerd. Oops, is that right? Yeah, quiltnerd.link/ I almost put Voltron because that's like where my note is for this. Across America. Quiltnerd.link/ across America. And so look at this. This is the cover of the book, and then this is the back of the book. Oh, look, I got it at Powell's in Portland. Right? Portland. So Quilts Across America, the making of the Great American Quilt Banner. Yeah. Have you heard about this? I don't know. I hadn't before I found this book. And this is not the peace ribbon. On an early episode of Quilt Nerd, we talked about the peace ribbon, which is different. And there were banners that were made, and we watched that film, the documentary about it. Good times. That was early on in the Quilt Nerd world. Oh, Quilty Mouse, you just got story quilts and how to make them. Awesome. So good. So good. Susan R. Michael might watch ahead. You might watch that movie. Susan, send me a message on the Disco and let me know, like, should we watch it? What if the first guest I ever had on Quilt Nerd was like the director of Helmet Makes a Quilt? That would be kind of iconic. Interesting. So 1988, this book was published in 1988, and I'm going to read you the jacket. Well, Bonnie, I think it might sound familiar because of the banner, or because of the quilt ribbon, the piece ribbon thing. I think so, but maybe not. Maybe you know about this. Okay, so here's what it says, and I scanned in many images of quilts because what I'm going to do, and it was so nice because so this is the back of the book, and I feel like this is pretty significant to look at because you can see these quilts in action. Look, they're all the same size. They're all state specific. And so what I did is I was there at the scanner and I scanned a bunch of them in. What was really great is that they have, hang on, let me show you. Look, so this is an example of one of the quilts in the book, obviously. And it's got the name of the person who made it, right there, and not much else. So what I didn't have to do, and today was really crazy. If you know that, you definitely know that because of the on location stuff that happened. So I was very happy because I could do all my scanning and I didn't have to do file names on my images just yet, because they're here. This is by Maureen Heath. This quilt is by Maureen Heath, and it was made in 1987. 88, because it's important. If I show you a quilt, I want to show you who made it. You know what I mean? But if I cropped the image this way, I didn't have to do that. And so what I want to do is read to you about this project as I go through all of these quilts, and you can see who made them, and the maker can get credit for that, and so forth. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Here's what this is all about, okay? And I'll zoom in so you can see some details in these quilts and all of that. Linsley. The Great American Quilt Festival was one of the celebrated events commemorating the 100th birthday of the Statue of Liberty, okay? The focal point of that festival was a 1,000-foot-long quilted banner. Now, sorry, I have to pause really quick. This is Quilt Nerd, so we got to get nerdy about this. Now, before I go on, do you remember when my mom was on the show, and we've actually talked about it in other ways at other times. The Great American Quilt Festival was in 1987, I believe. And remember, there was a winner from each state. It was the American Folk Art Museum and 3M, the company 3M. And Monica Calvert won the whole thing from California. She won the top prize. And my mom won from Iowa. Remember that? And we looked at her quilt. It was so cool. So that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the Great American Quilt Festival, okay? So that's giving the context of this, okay? I just wanted to tell you, because you know about this. You know about the Great American Quilt Festival, and I'm just sort of jogging your memory about that. Okay. And so, because I didn't know about this part, though, the focal point of the festival was a 1,000-foot long quilted banner representing every state in the Union called From Sea to Shining Sea. Before I got this book, I didn't know that. Mom never mentioned that. Why were you holding out on me, Mom? Thought the banner was going to steal your thunder? No, I'm kidding. This project, coordinated by the National Needlework Association, which I looked up and is still, it's on a hiatus right now, but I don't know, maybe some of you can tell me if the National Needlework Association is maybe you're a member, I don't know. Coordinated by the National Needlework Association in cooperation with the American Folk Museum in New York City, was executed over many months. Hundreds of quilters donated countless hours making 3-foot square quilts to be part of this monumental display. And now, in this beautifully illustrated book about the making of the banner, you'll see some of the finest examples of quilts from folks in cities and rural towns. Look at this, amazing. I just love it. Dotting this country from Maine to Hawaii. You'll read the personal stories told in their own words of why they, the makers, chose their themes, how they live, and what inspired them to be part of this patriotic project. From New Hampshire, a group of school children commemorate the astronauts of the space shuttle Challenger. Look, that's where we are right now. Space quilt. Oh my God, it's a space quilt. It's another one. Oh yeah? Yeah, you mean like this? You mean a space quilt like that? That's literally called a space quilt. The maker, Stephanie, it's part of a series of space quilts, okay? That's weird and awesome. You don't get space quilts on every episode of Quilt Nerd, okay? Doesn't just happen, doesn't just come up. This stuff happens on the show, and I'm here for it. Obviously, I'm the host, I better be. Okay, hang on. Historic buildings and events from every state. Give a pictorial history of the country, lovingly presented in stitches. 70 of the best quilts are pictured here in this book in full color with complete instructions for 24 quilts that should appeal to quilters from any state. With its vivid illustrations and heartwarming scenes and stories, Quilts Across America pays a stunning tribute to the mothers and daughters, men, Girl Scout troops, homemakers, extension groups, quilting clubs, and dedicated individuals who contributed to this spectacular event. I mean, yeah, tell me all about it. Like, this is amazing. And then about the author, Linsley, author of The Weekend Quilt. The Weekend Quilt is well known for her regular features in Family Circle magazine. Together with her husband and partner, John Aaron, she has written more than... Eric, did you hear that? Her husband and partner, business partner. She's written more than 30 popular craft books. They divide their time between Nantucket Island and New York City. Lovely. Okay, so we like our space quilts, Liz. We do. Court quilts, Mary. Ever since you mentioned the Folk Museum not paying contributors for a block design, I don't have a great feeling about them. But I do want to go there and see one quilt there that I saw in Quilter's newsletter. You know what? That American Folk Art Museum, the thing is like, yeah, I feel the same way. I'm like, Folk Art Museum, huh? Oh. But the guy, and you know, who knows? But the guy who was in charge of that whole thing, he's long gone, you know, and I don't know if he's still with us, but in terms of his, you know, stewardship of the museum or whatever, you know, he's not in charge anymore. So like, I'll give him a fair shake of you. Well, I mean, who knows? We better be nice because maybe one day they'll be like, please, Quilt Nerd, please broadcast from our museum. We gotta be careful. So, but I feel you. I mean, look, they didn't pay my mom and they didn't like that. You know, it's like, you remember these things, unfortunately. Okay. Let me just make sure I catch up. Oh, Sammy Mac. Good night. I don't know if I missed you to say goodbye, but I'm really glad you came in and I appreciate you. Maybe it's time to write a book called Quilts in Space. Quilts in Space. There's another quilt I have on deck for you all about, it's a NASA quilt, but I can't find anything else about it, so I don't want to show it to you until I know something else about it. Good night, Sonia. Good night. You need to crash. I get it. Good night. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, Bridgewater. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Hello. Okay. So I'm going to read from this, I don't know. I mean, what's weird about this is it's not an introduction. Like, I kept waiting for the introduction to be over. Like, I thought I would go through, 5 pages and then it would be done, but it doesn't really have chapters, this book. It just goes on. So I'm just going to read and we're going to feel this out, and this is the show, let's read a little bit about this. But the thing is that the quilts are so cool. I mean, they're really interesting and they have a lot going on that I think it's worth like just reading to you for a while and looking at these quilts because, you have obviously, traditional elements here. And but then all this pictorial, look at the thing on top of the dome. That's impressive. That is impressive. Cats in space, seriously, an Unmaker? It's wild. Good night, did I say good night, Sonia? Yeah, I did. Okay. But look at that. I mean, and the little flags. I don't know. Do people make these kinds of quilts anymore? I don't know. I mean, they're doing all kinds of intricate, cool stuff. I know that, but it's just such like, it's of a time, these kinds of pictorial quilts, and I just love them so much. Okay. It all started with the Statue of Liberty. A birthday party was in the making for the centennial celebration in New York Harbor. One of the major events being planned was the Great American Quilt Festival, which would focus people's attention on the art of quilting through a national contest. This event was to take place at the Exhibition Pier in New York City. And then there was the phone call that set in motion one of the greatest all-out grassroots efforts this country has ever seen. And it was early fall, and the call came from the American Folk Museum Festival Committee to Mary Colucci, Executive Director of the National Needlework Association, representing the nation's needlecraft industry. By the way, everybody, it said there were 70 quilts featured in this book. I don't know how many I copied. I copied some really interesting ones. Not all of them, but I did try to get some that were more traditional, like this one, because I always, so there were like super pictorial ones, and there's like a space quilt, and then there's this one which is way more traditional, and I pick things. You need to know sometimes what I pick out of the content that I gather is stuff that will inspire you, and also not like, I don't want it to be a show where it's all so, I don't know, like advanced, like these fancy those space quilts like by Stephanie that we saw earlier. It's so intricate and it's so like, whoa, that you can't find yourself in these quilts that I show you. You know what I mean? So if you're like newer at making quilts, or you're just a traditional, quilt maker, or you just want something easy to do, like I think about that. So I show you this one, and it's so great and so cool, but I also did not pass this one up because this is really great too, but it's much simpler. It's doable. And I just want people to be inspired by things on this show and to not ever feel like, okay. Just wanted to say that. There's a couple more simpler ones. HSTs are versatile. Thank you very much. I mean, look, that sailboat block, it's all HSTs. I mean, well, the middle sort of rectangle in the boat part of the boat, but it's 2 half square triangles on either side of the boat, and then half square triangles for the sail. That's it. And then patches. You can do this. You can make one right now. You can make one of those blocks by the time the show is done. And you know it, because you know how to do this. Oh my God, Hootsie, you bought 10 books. I love it. Oh, Bib says that's the Independence Man on top of the Rhode Island State House. Very good. Nerd. Very good, very good. Okay. So, thanks, Penny. Joyous Fibers, I love this thought, Mary. Perhaps we do a show sometime where we share our first quilt to make everyone seem like an expert. Yes. First quilt show. Oh, the first quilt show. What would be... You know what we're going to do? Tani? We are going to do that as part of the 1-year anniversary of Quilt Nerd in June. That's going to be part of it. That's part of it. So for the 1-year anniversary of the show, part of the festivities will be a Quilt Nerd on Parade. Obviously, this makes sense. Like, obviously. I mean, obviously, And so part of the content of that show will be people's first quilts. So if you don't have a picture of your first quilt, get it. You got plenty of time. The year anniversary is like at the end of June. And that was like my very first test. I don't even want to count that. But that is a brilliant idea. And I think showing our first quilts, just like the first year of doing something completely new, it makes perfect sense. And it involves you guys. I love it. Kelly, you're back. Well, listen, if you don't have a picture of the first quilt you ever made, get one. You'll learn why eventually. Thank you, Joyous Fibers. That's brilliant. Okay, so now that you're all working on your sailboat blocks. Okay, see, look at this. I mean, like, I don't know. It's fabulous, though. Isn't it great? This is made by Kathleen Feely and her students from Elsie's Needlecraft Center. That thing is no joke, y'all. Old Slater Mill, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Okay. Once they caught their breath, the National Needlework Association, this is all in 1986, 7, okay? They set about the task of finding quilters willing and able to participate in representing their state. How does one small group of women organize such a gigantic job? I'd like to know also. They began by writing dozens of letters, making hundreds of phone calls, and contacting local stores, homemakers groups, and quilting clubs all over the country in an effort to find people willing to donate a 3-foot square quilted section for this banner. I mean, it is all like, we're not paying you, like, please be involved in this thing that's going to be this awesome part of this festival, this huge thing, this great American quilt festival. Please donate your time and your efforts to make us look good. I mean, I do feel that. I do feel that a little bit. Oh, this is another one I thought I would show you for inspiration. Look at this. Oh, it's all HSTs. It's all HSTs. It is all half square triangles, this apple. Let's see. How are they doing? Well, okay, hang on. But I just thought this was really great, and what a fun quilt. So maybe if you take a screenshot of this, you can figure out just exactly how they did the curve, because this is, interesting. So there's some there's the half square triangle, and then this is a half square triangle. Is it like appliqued over the top? I'm not sure, but this is really fun. This is a really fun quilt. Isn't it sweet? I do. Yeah, no internet crowdsourcing, exactly. I need a crisp. Oh. Who just said that? The second Rhode Island quilt. Who just said that? There's like a ton of Rhode Island and Maine and Colorado. Like, they threw shade to like a bunch of states because they're like, these are the best 70 quilts. They're all from like the same 10 states. It's weird. It's super weird. Anyway, so take a screenshot of this. I think it's really awesome. Let me zoom in for you. Or just, watch the replay and you can look at it all you want. But I think it's really cool. Oh, and this book, remember, has patterns for a lot of these quilts. I don't know if this one is here, the apple one, but okay. How does one small group of women organize such a gigantic job? They began by writing dozens of letters, making hundreds of phone calls, and contacting local stores, homemakers groups, and quilting clubs. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry. Next, they created a registration form to be completed by group members who were interested in being part of this project. Each person or group was asked to submit a design idea for consideration. The theme was to be one that would best represent, this is great, it's New York City. The view is of New York City. Oh, Twin Towers, look at that. Wow. It could be, the theme was to be one that would best represent the state in which the quilters lived. This could be an historic event, person, or place. It might be at the state's flower, or bird, or a particular state building. It could be several points of interest, or the shape of the state. The techniques were to be patchwork and applique, and each square could be machine or hand quilted. Once the design ideas were approved, making sure that there weren't too many duplications, quilters would be sent another form. This would be for the purpose of gathering information about the people involved in the project, who would be asked to fill in facts about why they chose a particular design and what materials they used to make their quilts. This is too many forms. You could collapse that into one form. Easy for me to critique their process, I know, but lots of forms. Further, they were asked to give some personal information, such as their ages, where they learned to quilt, and did anyone else in the family quilt, and when did they begin quilting and why. They were also encouraged to share anecdotes about their quilting experiences. Well, that's a lot of content to gather, and did the American Folk Art Museum do anything with that? No. This book has some of those anecdotes and things, but not, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be critical. I want to celebrate this. It's amazing. These fact sheets, oh wow, listen to this. Listen to this. These fact sheets would then be used by TNNA, that's the National Needlework Association. They would be used by the TNNA to keep track of which states were contributing and which ones were falling behind. Uh-oh. If someone registered his or her design, for example, and it was accepted, the staff was then counting on receiving that square by the determined deadline. At one point, Lois Nash, a TNNA staffer, announced, quote, "New England states are doing fine. We'll have to put a fire under the Midwest." The information about each quilter would later be used to inform on others. No, I'm just kidding. To inform others. Okay, through a newsletter. Okay, Okay. I mean, there's a lot going on. Lots of publicity. This is something. Look at this. North Carolina, Sarah Carr and Nancy Goodman. Look at the soldiers. One thing that interests me about this project is, where is the banner today, Mother Nature? A very good question. I do not know. I don't know. We got to find out. I am curious about where this is kept. I mean, it was huge. But oh god, what was I gonna? Yeah. The pictorial quality of the quilts is really amazing. I mean, look at the scale of. I mean, the vanishing point, right? They're dealing with vanishing point. The wasp nest or hornet's nest or whatnot is it's intense. But look at the guys in the muskets. It's crazy. Dear Colonel Balfour, Charlotte is an agreeable village, but a damned rebellious country, a veritable hornet's nest. Oh, cool. Charles Cornwallis, General British Army. Interesting. Okay. Oh, look at this one. Oh, wait, that's Florida. Okay, yeah, we already looked. Oh, yeah, sorry. So, okay. They're talking about some of the quilts that came in. This is great. I mean, I wish we did know more about these things. I mean, this is great for quilt folk, right? These different state quilts. And I've mentioned this before. I mentioned it to Mike because I got this book a long time ago. But I mean, it's hard to know where to start. I mean, you can contact a person who made a quilt in 1988, but if it was part of a guild that isn't there anymore, I don't know. You can find people, but it takes a lot of work. And if you're doing, I don't know, a bunch of other stuff, it can be kind of hard. There is a quilt police. Yeah, there is, Sandy. The quilt police is on this show. St. Andrew Bay Quilters Guild. Look at that. Look at this. That is a really intricate or very detailed. Looks like it's machine embroidered. Is it machine embroidered? Maybe. Wow. Okay. So I'm trying to look on this in this narrative here. I thought this was, I don't want to linger on this one. It was very kind of depressing looking. Kansas. I was curious about this. Kansas. It's kind of down. Yeah, Kelly, I love that. Florida too. Like a treasure map. I loved it. That would be an interesting one. I have a fair amount of quilts that I know where to find. State shape quilts. I mean, I've got and I know another one, a very famous Florida quilt. Very famous. God, I almost want to find it right now. See, this one's kind of simple, but very charming. Hang on. I'm doing this. Florida Quilt Art Institute. I know where it is. Yeah. Okay, we're doing this. Because I don't have that many of these quilts. I don't have a bazillion of them to show you. And what's strange is that, they don't really tell the whole story. They start to kind of go into the different quilt makers, stories and things, which is great. But it's kind of hard to read because it's all mixed together. Okay, hang on now. Open image in new tab. Great. Okay, so it's not a super high res image, but I have to show you this. I mean, and I don't know, it might be super gross because it's, I don't know. Let's look at it together. Let's look at it right here. Okay. Look, there's Florida in the center. You know? And this is owned by the Art Institute. And when I say it might be gross, I mean that, you know, sometimes this was made in 1939 to 1943, but it was possibly made for the WPA project, which is the Works Progress Administration project, which I don't think would be too like problematic. I mean, like I've seen one quilt that's like the, you know, Migration West quilt, and there's just a lot of like really stereotypical, not flattering like pictorial depictions on quilts about Native Americans and stuff, where it's just like, okay, so I didn't know really, you know, what we would find here, because I've never really looked at this quilt super closely. I just put it in my mind like, oh yeah, there's that Florida quilt that is amazing. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this thing. I can tell you that it's not on view right now. It is at the Art Institute. Let me tell you, they've got a little bit about it. Offering a complicated vision of Florida. This is from the Art Institute website. Offering a complicated vision of Florida. This quilt features appliqued and embroidered representations of local leisure activities, such as golfing, as well as some of the state's leading agricultural products, including cotton and citrus. It also includes these stereotypical images of African Americans, such as a tiny figure picking cotton. Cool. Where is that? Tiny figure picking cotton, and a boy in tattered clothing playing a banjo next to a partially eaten slice of watermelon. You see what I'm saying? This wasn't even the one I was thinking of. There's another one that's... These representations contrast markedly with those of the white figures enjoying the beach or graduating from school, thus alluding to the black and white Floridians' unequal access to opportunity. The quilt raises questions about whose memory of the state it documents, and draws attention to the fact that quilts can reproduce stereotypes and other uncomfortable aspects of culture that belie the sense of comfort they typically convey. Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see the banjo moment there. Interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, Myra, Florida is more complicated now than in a very long time. You could not pay me enough money to live there. You know, the Florida, it's interesting. Like, I have a couple friends who were born in Florida, and some of them are just like, Florida all the way, man, Florida pride. And, you know, the other person's like, it's just, you know, I'm good. You know, she's like, I live in Chicago and I'm good. I'm good with it here. I mean, but I don't know if anybody is a Tori Amos fan, but I am. She has a house in Florida. She loves Florida. I'm like, well, I mean, if Tori likes it, I like it. But yeah, it's a very interesting place. But anyway, so look, you know, the other Florida quilt, I had to share it with you. A Nunmaker, the part of Florida I live in is so far detached from the rest of the state. That's the thing, a Nunmaker. It is just, hey, thanks, Robin's Nest. Robin's Nest, you were so awesome. Thank you for being a mod. And Kelly, God, thank you so much. It's so cool when you do that stuff. It's just awesome. Yeah, and like people dog on Florida, right? And like it happens all the time. It's like a thing that people do. And so, you know, a Nunmaker, I'm sure you're really used to that. And it probably doesn't feel great. But it sounds like you can kind of understand, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Just the areas of Florida seem to just differ so wildly from like county to county. Anyway. Yep, Word and Bird Nerd. Same here in Nunmaker. I live on an island and don't leave it very often. Hey, Mom. Mom. My mom's here, guys. Wait, no, let's do this. Mom, I'm so glad you're here. You know, Mom, we were talking about Florida, and your brother, your twin brother, I think we've mentioned that my mom has a fraternal twin, but Uncle Dave and Barb, they live in Florida. They live in Orlando, right? Orlando? Is that right, Mom? I'm so glad you're here. This is so great. Don't go to bed just yet. You have to stay on for a second, because I'm not going to be on that much longer either, because it's been a long day. Oh my God. And my mother just showed up. Okay, thank you, my great cats. My mother shows up in the chat And what do we have? We have a quilt from Iowa on the screen. I'm sorry. That's weird. Melbourne Beach. Interesting. Pride of Iowa, Mom. Look at that. Mom, okay, here's a question. No, you can't go anywhere yet because this is actually really, really important. Look, do you remember this? See, we talked about you tonight. We talked about you tonight, Mom. The making of the Great American Quilt banner. This was part of the whole Great American Quilt Festival thing. Do you remember this? Were you part of this? That's another weird thing too, you guys, that we were talking about the Quilt Festival, the Great American Quilt Festival, and here my mom shows up. Late. No, it's great. I just love that you're here. But Mom, do you remember this thing? It was like 3 feet by 3 feet banners, and this is a great one. Texas, look, it's jeans. Quack Cat, it's synchronicity. It is. It's synchronicity. That's what it is. It's not like Twilight Zone stuff. I mean, I like the sound effect, but you're right. It's synchronicity. Interesting. Oh, well, that's nice, Mom. Okay, so you do not remember this thing. Okay. I mean, they said... Oh, these chips are spicy. They said that it was like one of the biggest things in the festival. The Great American Quilt Festival. Here's just the first thing. Was one of the Great American Quilt Festival was one of the celebrated events commemorating the 100th birthday of the Statue of Liberty. The focal point of the festival was a 1,000... Oh, sorry, I covered the mic. Sorry. The Great American Quilt Festival was one of the celebrated events commemorating the 100th birthday of the Statue of Liberty. The focal point of the festival was a 1,000-foot-long quilted banner representing every state in the Union called From Sea to Shining Sea. Oh, you're late because you were at dinner. The focal point of the whole festival, they say. I mean, I'm not trying to say that it wasn't, but I mean, I had never heard of it before I saw this book, and I was like, this book is awesome because Quilt Folk goes state by state, and I was like, this is a treasure trove of state quilts. It wasn't quite that, but it was so interesting. But I never heard you say anything. Like a chalkboard. That looks like... You know what, Kitty? This is denim. Yeah, it's denim jeans for Texas. It's pretty cute. I think it's pretty cute. And this is Texas, too. Okay, yeah. This is great. Oklahoma by Lois DeMond. Okay, Mom says, I was in New York for that festival, my first time in New York City, but I remember no banner. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, wow, that's cool. Listen, for the folks who are... Oh, yeah, there's cool quilts in here. I've got a few more to show you, but, I don't know. There's some really, really creative, interesting stuff that people were doing for this thing. It is interesting, Mom. And somebody asked earlier, where is this thing now? Kelly, it's great. It's great, that little the denim butt, sort of the Bruce Springsteen moment. We need a time machine. Yeah. Wizard of Oz. You know what? I have to remember this for the Patchwork and Prose Book of the Month. This is a great Book of the Month fun quilt to show. Wiz Oz PNP BOM. Wizard of Oz Patchwork and Prose Block of the Month. Wiz Oz PNP BOM. I thought this was pretty amazing. And Mom, you made your rattlesnake quilt around this time, right? I mean, you all were crazy for this pictorial stuff. This is funny because that's spelled wrong, right? Carrie Nation. Wait a minute, Kelly. I just learned how to do that border treatment on the last Oklahoma quilt. Hold on. This one? Wait, no, Oklahoma. Oh, no, Oklahoma. Just a minute. Yeah. Oh, great. That's cool. This is a very successful quilt, I think. It's very well designed. Mom says many of the state winners at the event in New York were so mad. listen. Who was it who said earlier? Yeah, that we have a little prejudice toward the American Folk Art Museum, Mom. And we know Robert Bishop has not been around, in a while, and I think he was in charge at the time, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. But we shouldn't feel that way, right? We should just go and be happy about museums and quilts. The American Folk Art Museum really does have some pretty awesome quilts. Yeah, Kansas has Oz, of course. Look at this. Look at this piecing. See, another Kansas. What's weird, Mom, in this book, they have like 70 of the best quilts that were sent in, and no one got paid. That's the other part of this that we thought of when we were talking about, you and the quilt contest. Nobody got paid. I mean, they talk in the beginning of the book about, how it all happened. And it's like this very small group of women organized this entire thing, and kept track of everything. And it really made the whole festival really fun and look good. But I'm sure they just, oh my God, the work involved in the organization, I mean, when I think about somebody putting on a quilt show, I mean, I just never do it, because the idea that I would lose someone's quilt is so horrifying to me. I would never put on a quilt show. If it was like, Mary, there's never going to be another quilt show ever in the world if you don't do a quilt show, I would be like, can't do it. Sorry. I'm not getting someone's quilt and hanging it and then taking it back down and putting it in a box and mailing it back to them. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Yeah, exactly. There's not an equal number of entries. Or maybe there was enough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it worked. Look at this one. I thought this was really great. I wanted to show this one for that kind of simplicity, for that angle. I think it's like doable and cool. This looks like something that would be in Quilter's newsletter, maybe featured in Quilter's newsletter. I'm sure they did a story on it. I'm sure they did. I don't know. I feel like this is one of my top recommended books, because let me just I'll go through these a little bit quicker. Okay, that one's fine. This one's very cool, from Arizona. But I don't know, I should have done even more than I did. Look at this one. Red Rock, Arizona. Wait, hang on. I gotta get this. Somebody highlighted the thing. No, okay. The winning quilts from each state, Mom says, were in the far back of the exhibition hall. Yeah, I know. This one, I like this one, Arizona. Very effective. Just shapes. Very effective. Is there a Minnesota one? I mean, the answer is yes, Kitty, but not necessarily in the book. I mean, not every state is represented. In the book, it's the weirdest thing. I mean, look at this one, though. Sorry, the green screen's taking the green out, which is weird, but I mean, that's a very cool quilt. They're both really good. The last one I have, okay, this is Alaska. I have this one and then one from Guam and one from Hawaii, I think, and that's it. But this is great. Look at the seal. Ramona Chin. Oh, it's a little off center. These are really good, and the person in is it a kayak? I feel like I'm not thinking of the word that it is, but the sky is awesome. That looks really, really good. The seal of approval. Oh, Mom, that's very funny. Good job. Good. Okay, and then there's the Ramona Chin made that, and then Guam. I liked this one. Again, just like, improvisationally sort of laid out, right? It seems like the quilt maker took, scraps of this and scraps of that, laid it out, figured things out, I don't know. I really like it. I think it's cool. And the last quilt of the night. Is that true? Whoop, sorry. Is this the last quilt of the night? Is it true? Nope. I've got one more after this, and then I'll show you how the directions look. Gorgeous. Janet Stewart. Oh, I love that. That'd be kind of a good way to try a Hawaiian quilt, maybe. Try it as just a small one. What year was this again? Kelly, it was 1988 is when this book came out. So 1987, right, Mom? 1987. Jill Alex, Raffle is in charge of the book list, the Quilt Nerd books list. And I have an affiliate link for you for this book that is live. But yes, Raffle, are you still in the chat, Raffle? I don't know. But the link for this one is quiltnerd.link/Across America. Across America, yeah. This one was really good. I hope I don't. Was it 86, Mom? Maybe it was 86. Okay. Oh yeah, this one's it. Hawaii. I like this too because of the fabric around for the border. Okay. So if you get this book, you will see that they have this section for making selected quilts. And I don't know, if I don't know how these are. I'm not sure, maybe they're easy to follow, maybe they're not, I don't know. But you do get some like schematics for some of the quilts, not for all of them. Oh, Padma, that's great. We need to make a list of where everyone's from so we can find each other. Maybe a folder in the disco. That's a great idea. I'd love to know that. Because that's the thing. I didn't realize we had a couple people in Florida. I mean, yeah, like that was like, oh, to me too. Robin, you bought both books from today. Truly, a very good move. The Southern Quilts, Mom, I did a Betts Ramsey reference tonight. Amazing book. And this one is really good. Just there's so many quilts pictured and they're so creative. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if this looks like, a crack up to you guys or if you're like, okay, that's good. But anyway, so that's the Quilts Across America. And I think it is a very interesting moment in quilt history. This moment in quilt history brought to you by Quilts Across America. But you know what's weird, too? When I read that thing to Mom again, the focal point of the festival was a 1,000-foot-long quilted banner representing every state in the Union called From Sea to Shining Sea. So it's not called the Great American Quilt Banner. The banner was called From Sea to Shining Sea. So I didn't realize that when I was like kind of looking around for this thing. I mean, that's kind of confusing. So now that we know the banner itself was called From Sea to Shining Sea, maybe that's important, right? I don't know. It's kind of confusing, but the Nerd Directory. Yes, the Nerd Directory. Honey. I was looking at Padma and then the directory, and then I was going to say something to my mom that's loving, which is, Mom, I get it. I love you. I adore you too. You're 72 and you're tired and you're going to go to sleep. And I get it. Oh, good, Kelly. That's great. So thanks for coming, Mom. I love you so much. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. We have a date to talk. Susan Armichael, I agree. I thought the quilt contest would have been the focal point as well. And so that's why it's kind of like, it makes me think, maybe they kind of got a raw deal too, because maybe they thought they would. I don't know. Everybody tries to do stuff, and so often it just turns out to be a crack up. Maybe the banner people thought they were going to be the focal point. Maybe the quilt people thought they were going to be the focal point. Maybe the Folk Art Museum thought that they were going to, I don't know. Maybe they thought they were going to get lots of donations and they didn't get any, Maybe the Statue of Liberty was like, this is what this 100th anniversary, my 100th birthday party, and this, a banner? I was hoping for, Louboutins, people. I was hoping for a new crown. I mean, really. No, just kidding. I'm just goofing. Okay, I'm fading too, Kitty Anna. You all, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for anybody who tuned in this afternoon while I was working stuff out and with Eric. And I'll see you all on Tuesday night. And thanks for being here. Thanks for coming. And I'm excited because there's new stuff coming, and that's always true. But I'm gonna get somebody to kind of help me out with some of the stuff so I can focus on some other stuff. And yeah, and I'm not giving up. No, I'm not. I am not giving up on live streaming on location. I'm not giving up on nothing. Nothing. So I'll see you soon. And thank you for subscribing. Anybody who's subscribing, I really appreciate you. Thank you to my mods. Thank to anybody who follows me. Just the follow. It means a lot, and it's great. So I'll see you on Tuesday. And you just wait and see. You just wait and see. I'll be here. Bye, everybody. Have a great Sunday, and we will see you. We'll see you real soon. Okay. Bye-bye.